Hello and welcome to Saved, Not Scammed, where we expose manipulation, uplift the truth, and where we always remember Jesus didn't need an upline, so neither do you. My name is Kayla, and I am a self-proclaimed little tiny baby Christian, and I am also a consumer of anti-MLM content. I have been a consumer of anti-MLM content since what feels like forever, probably a decade. So incredibly excited that I got 6 subscribers. Thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. That was my goal. I hit it. I'm done here. No, thank you so much for that. It means the world to me. Thank you for commenting, letting me know how I did, giving me constructive feedback. I actually grew up as a daughter of someone who participated in MLMs. I've never been in one myself. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for protecting me. With that being said, when I was watching these MLM huns through anti-MLM content, one of the reoccurring things that I saw that took me aback was the faith manipulation used. And quite frankly, it was so bad. It was so disgusting to me. It was so difficult for me to watch that it actually affected my relationship with my faith. That's how bad it was. I couldn't comprehend how these people were using faith in this way, God, the Holy Spirit, baby Jesus, to essentially advertise their own agenda, which is, in my opinion, a scam. That leads me to the next disclaimer. We'll put it on the screen. This is protected under fair use. This is all my own opinion. The reason why I actually came on here is because of the creator that we're going to look at a video today. And actually, Julie Joe, Miss JJ, she did this video recently. And when I watched it while she was going through it, I was taken aback. I was so disturbed by this video. She is a public figure, so I will be showing her face. But let's go ahead and get started because this video, gross.
Hey, it's Jennifer Anderson, your favorite Scentsy girl. I need to make sure you can hear me okay, so hopefully someone can come on and tell me that you can hear me, because when I set my phone down, sometimes people can't hear me. So if you're on, say hi so I know who it is, and tell me that you can hear me. And if you're watching the replay, just comment replay so I know if you're who's seen this. Can you guys hear me? Can you just give me like a thumbs up if you can? Oh, good. Okay, listen. So I'm outside. Katie, you are so sweet to me. Thank you. I love you. Fellow boss lady, Katie Farner. I'm so glad you guys can hear me, and hopefully you can hear my wind chimes. I just got wind chimes, you guys. I've been wanting wind chimes for years. I love wind chimes. I just love being outside and like living outside and being outside like as much as I possibly can. And so I've always wanted like really fabulous wind chimes. And so actually, let me just show you how cute they're just hanging on the back of my chair right now, but they're like
very cute. I love me a good wind chime, but I actually like the ones that make like the low noises. I have a beautiful matte black one that I got for myself for Mother's Day. Because I buy myself the best gifts, and I do not like receiving gifts because, of course, I'm always like so nitpicky. I want something slightly different. Anyway, shout out to the wind chimes. They're the MVP of this video.
Teal and blue and slate and white. Okay, boom. Can you still hear me now that I repositioned my phone? Hopefully you can hear me okay. So, listen, I do not come live on my personal page very much.
Oh, I forgot to say, she is the reason why I actually started this channel. Her leaving Scentsy and going to now Farmasi is actually the reason why I wanted to start YouTube. Her faith manipulation in that goodbye to Scentsy video is what really just said, you know what? I told myself it's ready. I'm ready. It's time.
Because let's be real, it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary. And I go live on my team page like all the time. Well, sort of all the time, but I do like live trainings with my team all the time where I'm talking and like people get to see, you know, the real me and like what it's really like and what I think and how I feel and all of that stuff. So I don't come live on my own personal page very much, but like I literally can't take it anymore. And so I had to come live and just do a video because a post wasn't right and a picture wasn't right and there were no words that I could say. And you're probably like, what is she freaking out about? Guys, like, I gotta tell you something though, for real. So our world is absolutely bananas right now. Bananas. And I don't watch the news ever. I don't even, we don't have cable and I don't even subscribe to the news channels. So if I know anything of the news, it's like what's going on Facebook.
I do not recommend getting your news from Facebook, number one. Number two, just to caveat, this is from July 28th, 2020.
And even I try and stay away from that. Like I have to protect my heart and my brain, and you know, being like watching the news isn't good for my heart and my brain, and watching the news isn't good for like my anxiety and like all of that. So I try not to even watch the news, seriously. And so that might make me ignorant, but like I'm cool with it. I'm totally cool with it because I gotta live in like this happy bubble of my world, and I have to protect my daughter and my heart and my brain. And like I run a business, so I gotta make sure my brain is right.
My husband runs his own business, like an actual small business, and he pays attention to the news. And I do want to have that noted that she herself admits that she's ignorant. And I don't think anyone really understood the magnitude, but by the end of July, I think most people were like, okay, maybe like April, May, even June, but by the end of July, we were like, this is a big deal and we really need to pay attention. A global thing going on. I mean, it just seems naive. But she herself said it, and I don't pay her bills, so who am I?
My mind is right, and I gotta have a good mindset and stay positive, and like, so that's where I'm at. And if you think I'm crazy or ignorant or dumb for not watching the news, that's cool, but you don't pay my bills and you don't live with me and I'm not married to you. So as much as I love you, I'm fine with it. Because I truly, something I've learned over the years is that, and I really believe this, and I try and teach my team this, and I try and teach the people that I mentor this, is that there's only two people's opinions of you that matter. And the first one is God's opinion of you. And you know what? To be honest with you, God's opinion of you never, ever, ever changes. It's always the same. He always loves you, and there's nothing that you could ever do to make him not love you more. And there's nothing you couldn't do to make him not love you. And there's nothing you could do to make him love you less.
What are her credentials to teach us anything? This is a big issue that I have with so many of these people, is that because they scammed and manipulated and recruited enough people into, my opinion, a scam, they think that somehow they have a right to teach people stuff. You didn't put out a resume, you weren't chosen by an HR team, you didn't work at a job and meet certain metrics for X amount of time and put in X amount of hours per week, and you have nothing to put on a resume, in my opinion, that would give you the credentials to teach anyone anything. And yet you sit here and go, I teach my team this. It's ridiculous. I do agree with her that God's opinion, he doesn't really have an opinion. He created you. You're his child. It's just like how you feel about your child. You love your child unconditionally, and that will never change. It's the same type of concept.
Less or love you more, and there's nothing you couldn't do to make him love you less or love you more. His opinion of you never changes. You are his child, and he created you, and he desires good things for you, and he desires for you to live in communion with him, and that's it. So God's opinion of you never ever changes. The only other person's opinion of you that should ever matter would be your spouse if you're married. If you're not married, it's no one else. It's just God's. And if you are married, it's your spouse. Your spouse's opinion of you matters. Because that's what marriage is. Marriage is not...
Julie Jo brought up a great point. There are plenty of other people. If you care about them, they care about you. There's a mutual understanding within your relationship that you care for each other and you want the best for each other, then that person's opinion does matter. And there are plenty of people, everyone has a different, whether it's a family you've made or a family that you were born into, et cetera, that if their opinion matters to you and your opinion matters to them, then who's to say that that's not something that's important to you? It's just, and she's saying this with so much confidence. Get off your soapbox and humble yourself and understand that you have no credential to say any of this, in my opinion.
Screw you, I don't care what you think. Marriage is a partnership and marriage is being together. And so those are the only two people's opinions of you that matter. But honestly, it's not your kids' opinion of you. It's not your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, any of those things. Two people's opinions of you that matter. Number one is God, and number two is your spouse if you're married. And if you're not married, it's just God's. And God's opinion of you never changes. So if you're so concerned about what other people think of you, then let that go, man. Let that go, because that's going to eat you alive, and that's going to ruin your brain and ruin your heart and ruin your mind.
No, thank you. Absolutely not. No, thank you. Sermon gift? I don't know much about her other than she uses faith manipulation in nearly every single video I've ever seen of hers, and that she's from Scentsy and now she's moved on to Farmasi. So she's gone from one grift to another. But who's to say you're spiritually mature enough?
So that's free. That was a gift. That was a little sermon gift. But here's what I can't take anymore, okay? Our world is crazy. Our world is bananas. Our world is nuts. And I can't take any more people saying woe is me, or this is happening to me. We cannot control what happens to us. We can't control what happens around us. We can't control what other people do. You know what we can control? We can control a couple things. We can control our own actions and reactions, okay? And we can also control, I think people don't understand this, but we can also control what we allow in our life. So you might think this is harsh, but if you are broke, it's because you're allowing that to happen in your life.
The absolute audacity and the privilege that she has to say this. This is just disgusting, to be quite frank. And my question is, growing up as my husband grew up Christian, and I did, a little bit here and there. We didn't go to church a lot, but he told me he had, the Live Strong bracelets. His said WWJD. And I was like, well, what did that stand for? And he's like, Dad, what would Jesus do? And I was like, so cute. But what would Jesus do? Would Jesus be talking to people like this? Would Jesus be like, you allowed poverty. You allowed that. No, the heck he wouldn't. He'd be like, here's some bread. Here's some bread. Everybody get some bread. Knock it off.
your life. And if you are rich, it's because you are allowing that to happen in your life. Being broke and being rich are both choices, friends, and we can control what we allow to happen in our life and what we allow to speak into our life or be in our life. And that does include your financial situation too, okay? You can control what you allow. Take it from someone. Most of you don't know my story. A lot of my team knows my story, but before I found Scentsy and before I married my husband, I was actually $30,000 in debt, personal debt. I was in debt. I come from a...
Sometimes, you're putting on a credit card food, you're putting, there's lots of things you can put on a credit card that you need, they're daily needs. But the way that she's talking and the way that her overall gist seems and the way that she seems to put material items on a pedestal, I just have a feeling that the $30,000 of debt is not needs. I think that some of them are probably wants. That's my opinion. I could be totally wrong, and I could be making poor assumptions, and shame on me, but maybe not.
Mindset of like, I can't afford that, or I'm broke, or I won't be able to ever do that. And I grew up like that. I grew up in that kind of mindset. I grew up in that kind of way where people said things like, oh, I can't have that, or oh, I can't afford that. And that used to be my first answer for a lot of things. And I would see things that I'd want, and I'd immediately tell myself, like, that's not for me, or I can't have that, or I'll never be able to afford that, or I can't stay on a vacation. And it's almost like a prejudice in a backwards way against people who change their life, and people who change their situation, and people who take care of things, and people who pay off debt, and people who can afford things. But I want you to know something, that people who are in that situation are there because they chose it. And people who are in that situation where they can afford things and can have nice things and can do what they want, and they have the freedom to say yes, and they have the ability to buy a safe car or live in a safe neighborhood or go on a vacation or save, it's because they chose that. And it's because that's what they allow in their life, and they're not accepting any other standard for that. So I come from a place of $30,000 in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, being super broke, never being able to say yes, and in fact always having to say, like, no, that's not for me. No, I can't afford that. No, oh, like, I'll never have that, or oh, must be nice for them. Oh, they drive a Mercedes, must be nice. And it's, you know what? It's terrible. It's almost like a prejudice. Okay? It's almost like that people who have money or make good choices are bad or wrong. And you might not identify with this at all, but maybe you do. That's the life that I grew up in. That's the life that I come from. And I come from a place of thinking that someone who has nice things or has money or has freedom, like, and somehow, like, it's been handed to them, or that must be really nice, good for them. Like, and it's almost like a snootiness in a way, in a backwards way. And it's wrong. It's wrong. Because you know what? People that have that.
So here's the deal. It's all about, what you're preaching and what you're, speaking to others and what you're prioritizing, in my opinion. And to me, she's prioritizing, it seems to me, allowing, I'm not quite sure, honestly. I've watched the whole thing, and I'm glad I'm refreshing my memory because it's been about a week. But yeah, let's continue.
People that have that, it's because they chose it. People that don't have that, it's also because they chose it. Despite what's happening in the world, we still live in the land of opportunity. You still have the opportunity to change your situation. You still have the opportunity to change your future, and you still have the opportunity to change your life, your family's life, what you allow, what you don't allow. And it all starts with you and what you will allow in your life or what you won't. It's all about what you will settle for and what you will accept or what you won't. And frankly, I had come to a point in my life where I decided that I wasn't going to settle for that anymore, and I wasn't going to allow that anymore. So I am now debt-free. I am no longer a slave to credit cards or people calling me or being afraid to answer the phone because it's a debt collector. I am no longer a slave to having to drive a certain type of car or live in a certain neighborhood or only be able to wear clothes from a certain store. I'm no longer a slave to that because I chose that I was not going to settle for that anymore.
So good for you that you're debt free, but how many women did you encourage to go into debt for this opportunity? Like, what? How many times have we heard, and I don't know if she's ever said this, but I know so many of these huns, or now they're sisters, sisses, say, sell this, sell that, put it on a credit card for the starter kit, encouraging them to go in debt. What, so that you and only you could be allowed to wear whatever clothes you want? Who cares what clothes you're wearing? Just seems so selfish, so hypocritical, and so disgusting. Disgusting.
And I want you to know the whole point of this video, what I'm sharing with you, is because you don't have to settle for that either. That doesn't have to be your life. You don't have to struggle. You don't have.
You too can get rich now by scamming other women.
To live paycheck to paycheck. You don't have to come from a place of, oh, that's not for me, or it must be really nice for them, but I'll never have that. That does not.
I'm sorry for pausing so fast again. Where is the actual advice? Where is the actual advice? Does she have any authority to give advice? No, I don't think so. But not in this entire thing do I recall her giving any solid advice about how she actually did that. She's just pretending to be some type of motivational speaker. Knock it off.
Have to be your reality. That doesn't have to be the way that you roll. That doesn't have to be what your life looks like. That doesn't have to be what you allow. Your life, your future is completely up to you. And at some point, someone told me this and it struck a chord. And you know what? No one is coming to rescue you. You are your own rescue. Okay? And I'm not speaking in a spiritual sense. You are not your own rescue in a spiritual sense. Jesus is your rescue, and that's it. But in your life, in your financial situation, and your future, no one is coming to rescue you. You're not going to win the lottery. Your life isn't going to fall into place one day. Things aren't going to just magically work out. No one is coming to save you. You are your own rescue. You are the only one who can change the game. You are the only one who can decide what you allow in your life or not. You and you alone, it's up to you. So if you're broke, it's up to you to fix it. No one's going to do that for you. You're not going to find a sugar daddy. You're not going to find a sugar mama. You're not going to win the lottery. Change the game. Change your choices. Change your mind. Change what you decide you deserve. Change what you decide that you'll allow. Change what you decide you're worth. I can't take it anymore when I see people live a life of struggle, but whether you think so or not, that's by choice. Because living a life of freedom and living a life of not struggling is also by choice and is a result of intentional hard work and serious actions. It's a conscious decision to not allow that kind of crap to control you. Fix your mind. That's right. Fix your mind. You must fix your mind. I teach my team all the time. I say it all the time, and I really mean it. every battle you ever face is won or lost in your mind. I truly, truly believe that. That's where it all begins. That's where it all starts. And even your battle.
I can somewhat agree, but go to therapy. Get quality mental health help if you are struggling with mental blocks. Don't listen to some hun trying to sell you crap on Facebook. Ugh.
Of struggle, or your battle of your mind, or your battle of who you will allow in your life, or how you allow someone to treat you, or how you allow yourself to feel about yourself, or about what you deserve, or where you live, whatever. It's all starts in your mind, and deciding what you're worth, deciding what you will allow. Okay? So listen, I need you to hear me that I can't hear that anymore, and I can't deal with that anymore, and I don't really want to have people in my life that have that kind of mindset of like, oh, I'll never have that, oh, that's not for me, oh, I can't get that. Yeah, you can. So stop selling yourself short. If you're not having that, it's because you're choosing that. If you're not having that, it's because that's what you're settling for. And frankly, my mind, my heart, my brain, my family's future is too valuable for me to allow someone like that, or that kind of mindset, to be in my circle. My future, my family's future, the generations to come after me, and their mindset is way too valuable for me to risk it by being surrounded by people who have that kind of mindset. So if
You really think that a couple of people that are maybe struggling with, whether it be depression, whether they're struggling with whatever the heck, maybe they're just down and out, maybe they're struggling with bills that you don't know about, you genuinely think that that's going to affect generations to come? So dramatic. I think the reputation that you're creating by being a, a scammer is going to be more of an impact on the generations to come in your family than by those people, presumably, that you're surrounding yourself that have this attitude that you don't like. Have I mentioned she needs to knock it off? This is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
you have people like that in your circle, guys, it's time to change your circle. It's time to change your circle. And sometimes you have family members that are like that. Sometimes it's a spouse. Okay? You got to change your circle if that's the case.
Change your circle.
I mean it. And that might sound harsh, but guess what? It's all about choice.
But I thought our spouse was this person that we just care about their opinion so much. They're so hypocritical.
And what you allow and don't allow. Have you heard a theme today? What you allow and what you don't allow. Being broke is a choice. Being rich is a choice.
Could you imagine the person that you... Okay, bye, Obi. You swore in sickness and in health, till death do you part, under God, to love, protect, cherish, that because their mindset wasn't allowing them, or that they're, whatever she thinks, that their mindset is allowing them to stay broke, that you need to change your circle because of that. Instead of, I don't know, go to couples counseling, talk with professionals, talk with spiritual leaders, talk with, do couples counseling, etc. No, this random lady on Facebook, her and her wind chimes, are going to tell you to just change your circle so you can wear different clothes and drive a Mercedes.
It's all about what you will allow yourself to have. So let me tell you, when I found Scentsy 9.5 years ago, first of all, let's be real. I can't imagine that I've been with Scentsy almost 10 years, almost a decade. I've never done anything that long except for be married. Truly, I was a job hopper. Like, I have tried, if you saw my resume, you'd be like, you did all that? And I did all that like 10 years ago. So by the time I was 25, I did so many things, and I was like super successful in all of them. I was always really great at all of it, top of the whatever. Like, I always did really great. And then I found Scentsy and Scentsy's home, and I found my calling, and I found my passion, and I found that through Scentsy, I have the opportunity to help others change their lives. And by doing that, my life in turn changes, which is amazing, because there's no other thing you could do in this world that would be like that. Nothing. Everything else that you ever do in this world is about you, get to the top, take you, to go alone. Like, it's all about this rat race and like who can eat who. I mean, seriously, that's what everything is like. So the fact that I found Scentsy and have the opportunity to help other people change their life, and I can take other people to the top with me, and I can help people build businesses.
OMG. That is exactly what this is about. It is, and the most diabolical thing about MLMs, network marketing, social selling, pyramid schemes, in my opinion, is that it is masquerading as, oh, you're helping others. Oh, you're selfish if you don't share this opportunity. But ultimately, we know that 99% of the people are making next to nothing or losing money, and only 1% is making an astronomical amount. So instead of like a normal business where everyone's getting paid. Yes, there are layers to pay based off of responsibility, based off of credentials, based off of skill set, but everyone is getting paid. Here in network marketing, MLMs, you've got 99% of the people, all these people you're just stomping on so that you, only you, and your couple of friends just standing and making the most on top of everyone else. So this is the absolute most rat racy, selfish, possible thing I could possibly think of.
And do things bigger and greater than I ever could, and then my life in turn just happens to find success, is really, really beautiful, and I found home. But what Scentsy did is Scentsy taught me that there's another option. Okay? Scentsy taught me that there's another option. And you know what? Before I found Scentsy, I never knew that there was another option. And I'm going to be real talk with you right now, and I really want you to listen to me. This is serious. Our whole lives, we are taught, go to school, go to college, get a job, work for someone else, have someone else sign your paycheck, and the way you get ahead is by working really hard. You work 60 hours a week, you work 80 hours a week, you work yourself to the bone, you pick up extra jobs, you blah, 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 blah. That's what we're taught. That's what we're taught is the way that you get ahead. You save in your 401k and you do all these traditional things. That's what we're taught is the way you get ahead. Scentsy showed me that there's another way to live. And when I mean another way to live, I mean life-changing income that is way more than I could have ever fathomed, but also way more than I could ever earn by working a 60 to 80 hour a week job and having someone else sign my paycheck. Not only that financial freedom, but also freedom in the sense of like, I can put my business on hold to spend time with my daughter or go get my hair done in the middle of the day, or I can pack up tomorrow and say, hey, let's go to the beach for several days because I can take my business with me. Also, I've worked really hard for the last decade to build a business that gives me this kind of freedom. I can send my daughter to whatever school she wants to go to. I can buy whatever kind of...
I have so much to say. I'm going to try and make it quick. Number one, all of those things are taught to you because it is a very efficient way to ensure that you can survive. It is not the only way. I did not go to college. I was taught from my mom that that is not the only way that you can survive in this world. I was taught that work-life balance is very important. My parents owned their own business growing up and was taught that if you have a trade or something, that's a great way to do it. 401ks are extremely important. Number two, we have no idea how much she makes. She keeps saying this life-changing income. Does she know how much you need to make in order to retire? Do you know how much you need to have in a savings account? And I'm not talking about in today's monetary amount. I'm talking with inflation, because we might think, oh, woohoo, I've got $1 million in the bank. By the time that you retire, Jennifer, that's going to need to be double, triple, quadruple that amount, especially when you think about the health concerns, etc. So 401ks are extremely important because they're a diversified portfolio of usually many different shares, bonds, stocks, different things that will allow you to have money that fluctuates with the market and will account for inflation over time. In addition to that, when she talks about getting her hair done in the middle of the day, I could do that on my old job. If you're an exempt employee, you are paid based off the job you do, not the hours that you work. Yes, sometimes that meant you worked way more hours. Sometimes that means you worked less. But if you need to get your hair done in the middle of the day, you got your hair done in the middle of the day. You're like, hey, I have an appointment. I will be back in 2 hours. I come back with luscious hair. Oh, got my hair done. And nobody cared because your job was done. Point blank, period. And guess what? If you wanted to go to the beach for a couple days, you took vacation time. And guess what? When I took vacation time, I put on my going out email, your bookie's on vacation. You can go to my assistant if you need anything. Blah, 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 blah. You can go to my subordinate. You can go to whoever's there, my coordinator, whoever. And they will take care of you. You do not bug me for poo-poo. So I can genuinely enjoy my time with my family. I feel like sometimes they have not worked a corporate job. Like they're just, what they imagine in their head is what they think. Like they're just going off of assumptions, and yet they don't know the perks and the luxuries it is to have one of those jobs. So stop it. Get some help.
A house I want to buy, I can drive whatever car I want to drive. And it's not about having those things, but it is about having the ability to say yes if I want to. It is about having freedom. It is about not having someone tell me that I have to self-quarantine because I went somewhere and I can't come to work and I have to take...
Yeah, and so can a lot of other people.
...that time unpaid. It is about having the freedom to not have to ask someone to go to the bathroom or take a break, or when can I take my lunch hour, or have to clock in at a certain time or clock out. It is about having the freedom to work in my pajamas or put makeup on if I want to, or don't if I don't. It is about having the freedom to go hiking with my...
Same thing. Just being exempted employee. I didn't have to ask to go to the bathroom. I did not have to ask what time I came in. I came in when it was appropriate for me to get the job done, appropriate for, of course, meetings and such. But that's the same thing when they have Zoom meetings. It's not like they can show up leisurely. They have to show up on time. Once again, I don't know if she's ever been a salary employee.
Daughter in the middle of the day, or work when she's napping, or get up at 5:30 if I want to, or stay up until 2:30 in the morning. That's what it's about. It's about freedom. It's about choices. It's about having the ability to say yes if you want to.
Same thing. If I needed to work from home for a day, I absolutely could. If I needed a mental health day, I absolutely could. It's sick time. But honestly, what type of work is she getting done at 2:30 in the morning? What type who's she talking to? Who's she recruiting? Who is she going live for at 2:30 in the morning? For her job that requires her to manipulate people, in my opinion. I don't know how you could be doing that at 2:30 unless she's staying up so she could hustle people.
And I need you to hear me, and I need you to understand that when you don't have the ability to say yes if you want to, that's life in prison. That's a self-inflicted prison. That is a prison that you have created and allowed
Or a
for
stepping
yourself. That's not freedom. Working for someone else is not freedom. Having someone else sign your check is not freedom.
My husband will say working for himself is a prison. I guarantee you, he will absolutely say it's a prison. He feels like he can never, ever get off work. Ever. Ever. On his birthday, which happened to be Easter this year, he is answering work calls because it was a Sunday and they needed to set up work for Monday. And we were on vacation. We were camping.
And I'm not telling you that you have to be self-employed, and I'm not telling you that you have to start a Scentsy business, even though you should, and you should let me help you, because I will teach you everything I know. If you really want to learn, I will teach you everything I know, because I'm not afraid of sharing anything with you, because there are no secrets to success. I will teach you what I know, and I'm not afraid of sharing things with you, because statistically, everyone that I share things with, not everyone's going to do the things that they need to do to be successful anyway. And I know that from experience, because people quit.
Statistically, 99% of people, regardless of if that's true or not, 99% of people, whether they work super, super hard or not, will not make any money.
People give up. People are afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid to share with you how I've built my business and how I've gotten to where I've gotten. I'm not afraid to share that with you. I'm not afraid of competition. I'm not afraid of everyone swooping in, taking my, there's plenty of room at the top for.
No, there's not. There's a reason why your income disclosure statement shows that there is the lowest percentage at the very tippy top.
For all of us. And I'm not versed in any other companies, but in Scentsy, there is plenty of room at the top for all of us. Orville, that's our owner, he calls it like a campfire, and the campfire is Scentsy, and we're all around the campfire. And the bigger the campfire grows, and the more people that join Scentsy, we just step back and step back and step back, and our circle gets bigger, and there's plenty of heat for everyone. Trust me, there's plenty of heat for everyone.
That analogy makes no sense because the further you go back from the campfire, the colder it gets.
Because you know what? I've been doing this for almost a decade, and I still meet people every day who've never heard of Scentsy, or who've never tried it, or love it but can't find a consultant, or who have been abandoned by their consultant because their consultant left. Well, guess what? I'm not.
Ooh, you know what? I was just thinking about the campfire, right? So you've got the campfire in the middle, okay? And you've got the first people who started, right? She started 9.5 years ago. And we know the people who started at the very beginning are more likely to have success because they got in at the very beginning when it's less saturated. So you got those people, right? And they say, hey, come join me by the campfire, right? Those people get right behind them, right? They've got a little warmth, okay? Then those people say, hey, come join me. Hey, come join me. By the end, you've got this big old crowd around the campfire. And the people at the very edges, right? They're helping to keep all that warmth in. All that warmth in. Is my analogy working better than hers? I feel like it is. Maybe it's not. And they're helping to keep all that warmth in. But the people who are getting the most warmth, they're on fire, is the people closest to the fire because they've got all the warmth of all those people plus the campfire. People who've got no warmth at all, whose butts are to the fire and can't feel anything from the actual fire itself, and butts are to the outside, are the people on the very outside. And even the second row, and the third row, and the fourth row. Did it work?
Not gonna leave. That is a secret to success. You don't quit. You don't abandon anyone. You don't give up, even if times are hard. You have in your life what you allow. And if you've been allowing anything other than freedom and choices and the ability to say yes, and you think it's time for a change, then let me help you. Let me help you. Let me show you what real freedom can really be. I didn't even know that there was another option until I found Scentsy. Trust me, I didn't even know that there was another way to live. I just thought you live in debt. You have credit cards. You pay bills until you die. You pay your mortgage until you die. I didn't even know that like paying off your mortgage was a thing and not having a mortgage payment. I'm here to tell you it's a thing. I'm speaking from experience. Let me tell you, I didn't even know it was an option. I didn't even know there was another way to live. But there is. You can pay off your mortgage and not have a mortgage payment. You can go pay cash for a car. You can go pay cash for a house. Like, bruh. You don't have to live the way you've been living. You don't have to settle for what you've been settling for. You don't have to accept all the things that you've been accepting and allowing in your life. There is another way. There is a different option. Join me. Let me help you. Let me teach you what I know. I am here to...
Seems like what she knows is how to be disrespectful to people, how to not be understanding, how to pretend to be a motivational speaker, how to be hypocritical, how to speak in circles. But that's all my opinion.
Serve. I am here to show people how to be successful in their own right, whatever that is. Because guys, I can't take it anymore. I will not watch you struggle anymore. I will not watch you settle for less than the best. I will not watch you allow less than you deserve in your life. There is another way. You don't have to live this way anymore. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to have someone else be in control. That's not freedom, guys. Working for someone else is not freedom. Having someone else sign your paycheck is not freedom. Being in debt is not freedom. As long as you have debt, you will be a slave. You will be a slave. Okay? Me and my husband, we do Scentsy full time. This is all we do. Just retired my husband from his career in corporate America from his 6-figure job. Okay? Also, let me tell you this. I'm going to leave you with this. Like I said, when I found Scentsy 9.5 years ago, I was $30,000 in personal debt and didn't know that there was any other way to live. I had credit card debt, I had student loan debt, I had poor choices debt, and then things would go into collections and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And my credit was trashed, absolutely trashed. Today, because of hard work, intentionality, living below our means, never quitting, never giving up, my credit score is in the excellent range. And we built our dream home that I'm sitting in right now. I'm sitting on the porch. We built our dream home and purchased this dream home on my credit and my income. My husband was not even employed.
Just because your husband's not employed doesn't mean that his credit and his history and his employment history is not a portion of the credit that goes into it. I would make the assumption that his name would still be on the title and thus his history would still go into it. And we also don't know her interest rate. We have no idea. It could be 9% for all we know. So she could have a great rate. I'm not saying that it's horrible. I'm just saying that people will pick and choose what they want to tell us you know. And I want us to be careful when we listen to stuff like this because these people are sneaky, and they know what to say. They've learned over time what to say to ensure that they're saying the things that they know will get the right attention.
When we bought this house, my credit, my income, that's it. This house, my name is on the deed. My name. Your girl who comes from nothing, who had $30,000 in credit card debt, who had absolute poop credit and no one would even give her a credit card for $200. Your girl's name is on the deed. Your girl's name is how we bought this house. My income, my credit, bought this house. I just need you to know that. You can change. Let me also say my husband is freaking amazing, and he has provided so well for us over the last decade and helped set us up for serious success. And he has made such smart financial decisions, and it's because of him that my mindset completely changed, and he taught me what could really be, and he taught me about money and how to manage money well and what I was settling for, and that those temporary things that you want, like a coffee here or a shirt there or a car, those things, like, those are really, really, at the end of the day, they're not going to add up to your name being on the deed of your dream house. My husband taught me don't settle, don't trade what you want most.
So her husband, it wasn't Scentsy, her husband was the one who helped her become financially literate. She made it seem like Scentsy was what helped her get some monetary competence, but it sounds like it was actually her husband who helped teach her 2 1 plus 2 is not equaling 4 here.
For what you want at the moment. What you want at the moment is to spend money on that coffee or that car payment or that shirt or that thing that you think you need, but do not trade what you want most for what you want at the moment. I promise you it's not worth it. So I cut my spending. I became conservative. I worked incredibly hard. I lived well below my means. We did that together.
Having 2 incomes.
We did that together. We now have rental properties that provide income. We now have freedom. Neither one of us have a traditional job. We only work this Scentsy business, which has been a life-altering experience. And it's all about choices and what you allow. You get to choose. So if you're ready for a different life, let me help you. Because I've been there and I know what it's like. And you don't have to do that no mo. I love you. Have a great day.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for that hypocritical lecture that you really absolutely have no right in preaching to us. I have yet to see your resume and to see what qualifications you have to be preaching to us about any of that. But from what I know of you, you don't really have any right to say any of that. What I do know is that you were working as an independent contract for, and now are, for network marketing companies that are under the multi-level marketing structure, in which the FTC has found that 99+% have make little to no money, and it's a product-based pyramid scheme, in my opinion. But the FTC has found that the very few people make money. And in my opinion, it's on the backs of those other people. They're victims, in my opinion, to you, the 1%, to your manipulation, to your scheming, to your lies. And I think that it's not okay. I think that it's hypocritical to the um, God loving and God fearing woman that you say and allude yourself to being. And so I would just leave everyone with this. Please do not join any kind of social marketing, any kind of downline, upline, MRR, MLM, um, coaching, anything of that nature. Thank you for engaging with me. I truly appreciate it. I've already hit my goal of 6, but if you'd like to subscribe, please do so. It would mean the world to me. And stay tuned for more. I have so much more. I mean, I am stocked to the brim. I cannot wait. We have got full breakdowns coming soon of some of these products, and I can't wait to go in more detail for it. But the actual cost that this company is selling it for is almost $90. It's $89.95, and the breakdown of all of the ingredients is $2.71 wholesale. Guys, stay tuned. I am so excited. There's a bunch more there where that came from. We have one lady who is claiming that she is, quite frankly, the best mom in the whole wide world, is what it sounds like to me. She has a whole podcast about how Jesus is just helping her be in the best mom, and she is rubbing undiluted essential oils all over her baby's skin. I mean, it is just my favorite word, egregious. So stay tuned for that. I'm super, super excited to go into detail, but we have so much more to go over. I am jam-packed full and I cannot wait to show you more. So thank you so much, and you have a wonderful rest of the day. Now remember, Jesus didn't need an upline, so neither do you. Bye.